Kershaw Pico. I got this for between 20 and 25 bucks off Amazon, and it is my current EDC knife, actually my everyday carry knife. Well, not this one in particular, actually. Strictly speaking, this one is my everyday carry knife, but the exact same thing. I got a second one just in case I end up using this for years and wear it out from, just wear it out completely from using it pretty continuously. I'll just show you the backup because it's a little bit cleaner. There are several reasons why this became my one primary everyday carry that is literally with me from the time I wake up until the time I go to sleep. And then once I go to sleep, I switch over to a fixed blade as my easy to access one. But this has a 2.9 inch blade length, and it is spring assisted. And that's a golden combination that's actually not very common. I live in California, which has, surprising to many people, very generous knife laws, very simple knife laws. They don't mind people carrying knives in California. However, individual municipalities, local municipalities, can override those laws and add in more strict restrictions. Oakland, San Francisco, and Los Angeles are three areas that restrict you to 3 inches as a maximum for everyday carry. Not for everyday carry, for concealed carry on folding knives. So this having the 2.9 inch length is within the legal range there, and the manufacturers usually don't do such a short blade length with a spring assisted opening system. So on my personal one that I have been carrying for some months now, I did adjust it a little bit. I took it apart and loosened up the lock just a little bit, so there's a little bit less tension. It still locks up well, but there's a little bit less tension when you're opening. Also completely just retuned the pivot there, took it out, got the old thread lock off it, got it lubricated in there, and then re-thread locked and set it where I wanted it to be. So it's a little bit faster and a little bit easier than it was from the factory, but still from the factory it's not bad. You can just hear that it's just a little bit softer there. This one also hasn't been worn in. The detent, the track for the detent hasn't been worn in, and you can see, hopefully I can get it from the angle, just the right angle, that ball does need to go over a brushed surface, so you need to get that kind of polished in. It'll break in, once you get that track set in there nice and smooth. It'll be smoother opening, but you can still hear relative to mine. So this is the default settings, and it's mostly from the lock, just how that holds things back, and the detent little track, like I mentioned, compared to just a little bit more of a snap here. Just preference, but this does open just fine. All metal handles. It's a little bit handle heavy, but not too bad. The ergonomics are good. There's a little bit of curvature in here. It's very comfortable. All the edges are rounded off very nicely, so I appreciate that quite a bit. I can get some good control right in there. I can get the finger up. The little bit of jimping right here is actually more useful than it is, for me personally, than it is on a lot of knives, just in actual use, because I do get traction right there. The only thing that I don't like about this, honestly, is the shape of the blade. I wish the blade had a little bit less belly to it, because this is almost completely curved. I mean, the curvature starts right about there, and then it goes out to about there. That's quite a lot of belly. And I do a lot of box cutting, of course. A little bit different shape would be a little bit better for that. Just make the belly, maybe 2/3 as long. Have a little bit more aggressive angle here, a lot more just straight length down at this end, but I can live with that. I have lived with that. I've been living with that for some months now, and just kind of learned to work with it, because other than that, everything is pretty perfect here. The ergonomics are good. Feels pretty good in the pocket. It's very easy to deploy it. It gets a nice amount of metal. The 8CR13 MOV material I've talked about many times before, I think is really, really good for a budget knife in general. I think that this is the best value I personally have gotten out of a knife ever. Just not just because it's the one that I happen to be using the most right now, but it ticks so many boxes. It has so much that's done right. And if I could change anything, it would just be the blade shape, just a bit. The grind is really good. Came from the factory, ready to use right away. This I have not honed at all, and it is just in its default status, and it's biting nicely. It's pretty much good to go. This is definitely one that I recommend. If it feels a little bit slushy to you opening it up, the main thing you want to do is just work on this lock. Just bend it out just a little bit at a time. Retry, bend it out just a little bit. Make sure you do wear in the detents there to get that little track polished in, to make sure you know how it's going to be ultimately. If you go too far, it's not too difficult to take this apart and to bend this back in. There's only one other thing that I personally will do to mine that I carry every day. I'm going to get right down at the base of the clip there on the inside of it and file off that edge just to give it a little bit of a ramp there to go over the edge of a pocket, where you have that extra material that's hemmed over. Sometimes that gets caught a little bit and it doesn't go all the way down into the pocket, but the clip itself works well enough. I think I also may have loosened up the clip just a little bit for mine. Yeah, I did. I can see that. Loosened it up just a little bit. It's all going to depend upon the material of pants that you wear, but it worked okay. I just wanted it to be a little bit faster to deploy. This does have the option for right or left side tip up carry, so good options there. Overall, like I said, I'm just very happy with this thing, and will be continuing to use it as I have for some time now. I'll let you know if that changes.